Kolhapuri Sukha mutton. Hi, welcome to Sanjeev Kapoor Khazana. I'm Rupa here. I'm going to show you a nice authentic recipe of mutton which is called as Kolhapuri Sukha mutton. It's a little elaborate recipe, but I'm sure when the end product is tasted, it's very awesome. So let's go ahead and look at the recipe. I have a kilo of mutton or lamb, 3 onion finely chopped, 1 cup of freshly grated coconut, half cup of dry coconut grated, an inch of cinnamon, salt to taste. This is the special masala which I'm using. It's called as a Kolhapuri chutney, or it's called as a kanda lasun masala. It's nothing but it's a masala which is made of dry coconut, lot of chilies, garlic and some whole masala. It's readily available in the supermarket and it's a must in this recipe. So you have to find it in the market and get it to make this recipe. So that's about 2 tablespoons of Kolhapuri masala, some fresh coriander chopped. This is again a very different masala. It's called as a stone flour or dagad fool. You have to use in very small quantity. So maybe I'll be using about half a flour of it. Some bay leaves, a teaspoon of chili powder, 2 green chilies, a tablespoon of crushed garlic, and maybe 5 to 6 pods of whole garlic, half a teaspoon turmeric, 3 to 4 cloves, half a teaspoon cumin powder or whole cumin I'm using here, an inch of ginger finely chopped, a teaspoon of garam masala, 4 peppercorns, a teaspoon of coriander seeds, a mace, a teaspoon of poppy seeds, a teaspoon of sesame seeds, a teaspoon of fennel seeds and 1 star anise, and oil for cooking. To begin with, I'll grind some chutney to be put on the mutton before it goes for cooking. So it's nothing, it's a simple thing. Take some coriander, keep some for garnishing, about a tablespoon of it. Add a chili, 4 cloves of garlic, half the ginger and some few of the whole masalas like peppercorn, 2 peppercorns, 2 cloves and about half an inch of cinnamon. So take this, add a little water. Yeah, this is nicely ground to a green color chutney. Okay, take the meat, add the ground chutney, mix it well. Let's season it with salt, very little turmeric, maybe a quarter spoon, and give it a mix. Leave it aside and let's take a nice big pot, because I'm not going to pressure cook the mutton. Even if it takes time to cook, let it just cook in its own juice with adding little water as required, because once you pressure cook the meat cooks faster and the flavors don't really get incorporated into it. So maybe later on, if I want, I will pressure cook it, but to begin with, let it just get cooked in its own juice and add water as and when required. So let's take a nice big pot, take very little oil, about a tablespoon, add about 1 onion to it and saute till it becomes translucent. The onion has got nice and translucent, as you can see. At this stage, add the marinated mutton. Fry the pieces on high flame because I want the flavors to get locked in. Before you add the water, see that the mutton is nicely fried for a minute or so. You can see it changing color. Once it's nicely coated with the onion mixture, add the water. To begin with, this is around 1 kilo, so add around 2 cups of water and let it cook. Once it comes to a boil, simmer and keep it on simmer. It takes around maybe 45 minutes to 1 hour for it to get cooked well. The mutton is cooked, which was cooking for around 45 minutes, as I said. Let's check on it. As I said, I've cooked it on open flame, not pressure cooked it. Yeah, I don't want it very soft and mushy because it's a dry preparation, and again it's going to get cooked with the masala. So now at this stage, we will take out the stock that has come out from the meat and keep it aside. I have taken the stock out and cooked the meat not under pressure, as I said, because I want the consistency of the meat not to get overcooked and get detached from the bone, because it's a dry preparation. So the meat is taken aside and the stock is taken aside. Traditionally, the stock is not wasted. There are two rasas or gravies prepared from it, and these gravies or the rasas, you can see them on Sanjeev Kapoor Khazana. So before proceeding for the recipe, we'll have to grind a masala, and all the ingredients that we saw have to be roasted and then ground to a nice masala for cooking the meat. Take a pan, shallow pan, and put it on gas. Take about a tablespoon of oil. Once the oil is nice and hot, start putting all the whole masalas. Half an inch of cinnamon, about 2 to 3 peppercorns, 1 star anise, a teaspoon of coriander seeds. Let them nicely pop out. 1 teaspoon of cumin, 2 cloves, half of maize, a teaspoon of sesame. As I said, this is stone flour, a small piece of it goes, a teaspoon of poppy seeds and a teaspoon of fennel seeds. So all the dry masalas or the whole masalas are put in the oil. Give it a nice mix. On this, put around 1 onion, finely chopped, and fry till it goes nice pink in color. A nice aroma is getting lifted. I can smell it, and it's a very traditional flavor that I can smell, with all the spices getting incorporated into each other. That little bit of star anise and that stone flour enhances the taste of the dish and puts it into a very complete high level. At this stage, you can see the onion has gone nice and pink. Add the fresh coconut, stir fry. As the coconut and the onion is browning, at this stage, put a bay leaf. I don't want to put the bay leaf earlier because in the oil I don't want it to get burnt. Add the dry coconut. See that your roasting does not get burnt. Do it on very low flame, because sometimes cooking on low flame really gives a different taste than cooking it on high flame or quick cooking. So this dish has to be really gone a little slow. As you saw, the meat was also cooked on its own juices, and the masala also has to be roasted on very low flame. And as I said, the sesame seeds, this is a nice preparation when it's nice and cold outside, or on a Sunday when you're okay with a heavy meal, because the sesame seeds, the poppy, the dry coconut will all add richness to the masala and to the preparation of the meat. So at this stage, when it's gone nice and brown in color, shut the gas, so then we can take it for grinding. Let it cool down a little before we put it in the mixie. The masala which we have roasted is getting cold before we grind it to a paste. Till then, we'll take a pressure cooker. As I said, I've cooked the meat on open flame and not under pressure. But just to get the mixture of the masala into the meat faster, and just because it's a dry preparation, I don't want the meat to be handled very roughly. So delicately, we will just give it a pressure with the masala together. So now let's take a pressure cooker and add about 2 tablespoons of oil. Once the oil is nice and hot, add the crushed garlic. Once the garlic is nice and brown, add the onion. Saute till it goes pink in color. As the onion is getting sauteed, we'll grind the paste. with very little water. Add if water required, but see that it doesn't go into a very watery paste. We want it dry, but we want a fine paste also. Yeah, this is ground to a quite dry but a fine paste. The onion and the garlic is gone pink. At this stage, add the ground masala to it. Fry it for a minute. And then let's add the powdered masala. Just a pinch of turmeric, a teaspoon of garam masala, a tablespoon of the Kolhapuri masala or the Kolhapuri onion garlic chutney, a teaspoon of chili powder and some salt. We have already added salt into the meat, so just go a little low with the salt. Mix all this well. At this stage, add the cooked meat to it. Give it a nice mix. Add very little water and give it a pressure. About half a cup of water you can add. Don't add lots of it because we want it as a dry preparation. Add very little water. As I said, I want this as a dry preparation. Cover it. We have already cooked the meat, but we want the meat to get incorporated and all the masala to get into it in a fast way without disturbing the consistency of the meat. So we are not cooking it on open because it has to be delicately cooked. So let's just put under pressure for about, say, after one whistle, just put it on simmer and cook it for 3 to 4 minutes and then shut the gas. The whistle had gone, so now simmer the gas and let the meat cook under absolutely low pressure or slow pressure for around 4 to 5 minutes. The pressure is gone, so let's check on the mutton. The mutton is cooked and it's a nice dry preparation, as you can see. Now let's take it out for serving. The aromas of the dry and the fresh coconut releasing. The Sukha mutton, as you can see, is very dry and it's got a nice flavor from the dry and the fresh coconut that we have ground and used. Let's just garnish it with little coriander. It is normally served with the vadas and the two rasas that I just spoke about when the stock was taken out, the white rasa and the red rasa, which you can see on Sanjeev Kapoor Khazana.